My name is Victoria Berry, and I work for the Family Focus Resource Center. We are an agency that is headquartered at Cal State University Northridge, but we have offices in the San Fernando Valley, the Santa Clarita Valley, and the Antelope Valley. And we help families as well as professionals. And our specialty is working with families who have children with disabilities. All of our staff are parents, so we provide parent-to-parent support. For example, I'm the parent of 2 young adults who have autism. And we've been seeing a lot of information about some food programs and some changes in some existing food programs as a result of COVID-19. So I thought it would be nice to sort of collect all that information together and share it in this webinar. So we will be talking about 5 different programs: school meals, the new P-EBT card, CalFresh, which has some changes due to COVID-19, some food banks, and a new hot lunch meal program. And then we'll talk about some resources. So the first program we want to talk about are the school meal programs. This started on, I think March 18th was the first day that school districts started offering free school meals to students due to school closures. School districts got emergency funding to provide meals for students during school closures because many students rely on those meals during the week. I read in the LA Times recently that LA Unified has provided 4 million meals so far since the school closures. So that's a lot of meals. It's important for us to understand that the meals are for all students. They're not just for students who were getting the free or reduced price meals in school. So even if a student has never gotten a school meal before, they are eligible to get these free school meals during the school closures. Most of the meals are offered in a grab and go method. So that reduces risk for people getting the virus by picking up a meal. There's a couple of pictures here on the screen that show how they're being distributed. The one on the top is from LA Unified's website. So these are usually offered at different school sites, and they are typically pre-packaged in brown paper bags for easy pickup. And the meals include all the basic food groups, all the things that kids would normally get at a school meal. So several weeks ago when this started, I wanted to see what the meals were like. And as I mentioned, I have a son who's 20 years old, but he is still enrolled in our high school district. He's still a student. So we got in the car and we drove to our nearest school that was offering these school meals and got one because I wanted to see what was included. So his meal included a sandwich, a piece of fruit, a little package of carrots, a string cheese, package of string cheese, a little package of juice, and for breakfast, it included the breakfast is usually a cold cereal and a package of milk. So those are the types of items that are usually included in the grab and go meals. Every school district in our area is providing the meals a little bit differently. So it's helpful to look up the information for your school district. In the San Fernando Valley, LA Unified is providing the meals at, I think, 17 locations in the Valley, Monday through Friday in the morning, between 8 and 11. And they include a breakfast and a lunch in the meal. In Santa Clarita, they are doing it at 14 locations, and they serve it at lunchtime, 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. They provide a breakfast and a lunch. And just recently, they started adding some additional food to be a dinner, but they're not doing that at every location. They're just doing that at some locations. And we also serve the Antelope Valley area, and those meals are provided at many different sites by school district, Monday through Friday. I thought it was really interesting when we started researching this. Some of the school districts that have students in kind of remote areas are distributing the meals at the bus stops because the schools are so far away from where the students live. They're taking the meals on the buses and they're delivering them at the bus stops. Antelope Valley has 10 or 11 different school districts, so you really need to check with the school district to see what the distribution is. But we collected all that information from all the school districts and we put it on our website. So I'll show that at the end of this webinar. So again, it's important to realize that the meals are for all students. They're not just for students who were getting the free meals at school. People can either drive up or walk up to get their meals. And usually the student does need to be with you in the car to get the meal. I've heard different things from different people. Some people have told me that the people at the school site insist that the child is with them in the car, and other people have told me they're not so strict about it. You just drive up and say, I need 3, and they'll give you 3 and you drive away. So I think it's good to do a little research, be prepared, have your child with you, and find out the details. Some schools also on their websites post that the meals are for students under the age of 18. My student is over the age of 18. He's 20, but he's still a student in the district because he has a disability. And I took him with me and it's fine. They gave him a meal. So it's my understanding that students with disabilities are eligible even if they're over the age of 18, as long as they're still a student. Okay, let's move on. Oh, here are some important phone numbers. If you want to get some more information about the school meals, there are some telephone numbers here to call if you need more information or if you want to report a problem at a school site. And again, the Antelope Valley information is on our website. There were just too many school districts for me to write it all down here. Hi, welcome everybody who joined us while this is in progress. I just wanted to let you know everybody's on mute right now. We can take questions at the end. I am recording this webinar and I'll load it on our website probably later today or tomorrow, so you can watch the rest of it there. Okay, the next program I want to talk about is called the Pandemic EBT Card, or the P-EBT card. This is a new program that was created specifically for this school closure time. It will be available later this month. The way it works is that the state is giving children who are eligible for the free or reduced price meals some additional money to buy food. They're calling it P-EBT benefits. There's a little picture of the card, what it will look like up there. And the benefit amount is up to $365 per eligible child. And this money is to be used to buy food items at the grocery store. This is a one-time benefit. This is not designed to be something that will last forever. Who knows, it might get extended. But for right now, the maximum benefit is $365, and that is designed to cover the period of March, April, May, and June. So if the child was eligible for the free or reduced meals at school before school closed, they will get the full $365. If they were eligible for only part of that time, it might be adjusted and they might get less. So the P-EBT card is being rolled out in 2 phases. The first phase is underway right now, and children that were eligible for the free or reduced price meals and who were eligible for Medi-Cal, CalFresh, or CalWorks don't have to apply. The cards will be automatically mailed to the family. And that should be happening actually starting right now through May 22nd. If the families do not get a card in the mail, they're asked to call the customer service number with the phone number that's here on the screen so that they can determine, why they didn't get their card in the mail. Phase 2 is for children that were not eligible for the reduced price meals, or children that were eligible for the meals but did not have Medi-Cal, CalFresh, and so on. So those families are invited to apply online for the P-EBT card, and the application process starts a week from today. It starts May 22nd. The link for that is up on your screen. You can go there right now, but the application period isn't open. It just tells you when people can apply. So that application period is coming up soon. So as I said, this is this is called a one-time program. It's just going to be offered once for the period of March, April, May, and June. Okay, so what can people buy with their P-EBT card when they get it in the mail? It can buy food at your grocery store or at some farmers markets that take EBT. You could also buy food online at Amazon.com or Walmart. That's a special arrangement that the California Department of Social Services made with Amazon and Walmart so that people could buy food without going into stores. And it works just like a debit card at a store. You would pay you'd select EBT, swipe the card, and put in your PIN number. When you get the card, there's instructions for how to set up your own PIN number. And for families that do get the P-EBT card, they are still eligible to get the free school meals at the school sites. So they don't have to pick between one or the other. They can get both. Okay. Okay. The next program that I want to talk about is CalFresh. CalFresh is the name for California's Supplemental Nutrition Program. CalFresh is considered a cash benefit, but it's a cash benefit that is only used to buy food. And the monthly amount per eligible person is from $15 up to $194 per eligible person. And the CalFresh EBT card can also be used, just like the P-EBT card, to buy groceries at grocery stores or at farmers markets. And starting April 28th, people could also use their CalFresh cards to buy groceries online at Walmart and Amazon. However, it doesn't pay for the shipping. So if people choose to do online food purchasing at Walmart or Amazon.com, they might have to pay for the delivery of the foods. Now, how is someone eligible for CalFresh? Well, there are a few eligibility criteria. First of all, the recipient needs to be a US citizen or a legal permanent resident. If a family includes people who are documented and undocumented, then the people who are documented can apply for CalFresh. So, for example, children in the household might be eligible for CalFresh, but the adults are not eligible. And eligibility for CalFresh is based on household income, and with some deductions allowed for rent or mortgage and medical expenses. Now, the way CalFresh defines a household is people who live together and shop for and prepare meals together. So, for example, in my house, I live with my husband, and one of my sons, and myself, and we, all pay for groceries together. We don't buy our own separate groceries, and we generally fix our meals together. So we would be considered a household of 3 people, and if we applied for CalFresh, they would take our whole household income into account. It's a little bit different for adults. Children or adults under the age of 22 who live with their family would apply with their family. They would be considered a household together. Adults age 22 or older might be able to apply on their own if they buy their own food and prepare at least 50% of their own meals, or buy their meals outside, like at a restaurant or cafeteria or something like that. Adults age 22 or older who are living on their own or with roommates might be able to apply on their own, or they might be able to apply with their roommates if they buy and prepare meals together. So that's the way CalFresh looks at eligibility, is by household and people who buy and prepare meals together. Now, there was something that happened in June of last year, June 2019. People who, whoops, I think I went backwards. People who are eligible for SSI are now eligible to apply for CalFresh benefits. I'm sorry, I keep jumping around. So people on SSI can now apply for CalFresh benefits. But again, it takes into account the income of their household, what their CalFresh household is. Some changes to CalFresh due to the pandemic were that CalFresh benefits were increased for the months of April, May, and next month in June. So people had emergency benefits that brought them up to the maximum per month. Also, for people applying for CalFresh right now, they made some changes to the eligibility process. The telephone interviews for CalFresh were suspended. They are not doing telephone interviews right now. I think that's because there are so many people applying for CalFresh. I think I read recently that 1.2 million people made CalFresh applications this month in California. Also, they determine eligibility based on the information in the application and in the documents submitted. So they will just look at what you submit, what's on the application, and they'll either approve it or deny it. And then if the person is approved, they will go back and do the telephone interview later. In the telephone interview, they clarify some questions. They might ask for some additional information. Typically, they will also see if you're eligible for other programs, but I just don't think they have the ability to do all those telephone interviews right now. So they're just making eligibility determinations based on the information given. Also, people who get CalFresh benefits typically have to make 2 reports per year to verify that their income, levels. And those reports, those semi-annual reports, have been suspended for now. And they've made some changes to make it easier to apply over the phone. In other words, you can just say, yes, I want to apply, and they don't require a signature from you. So how does someone apply for CalFresh? Well, all of the in Los Angeles County, you apply through DPSS, which is the Department of Public Social Services. Now, their offices, like a lot of offices, are closed to the public right now. So there's 2 ways you can apply with DPSS. You can call the telephone number, or you can apply online using a program on their website called Your Benefits Now. My center, the Family Focused Resource Center, is helping regional center consumers apply. Regional center consumers are their family members. So you could also apply through us over the phone, and we go through the same process that they do at DPSS. And you can just call one of our offices, or you can send an email to calfresh@csun.edu to make an appointment, and we can do that over the phone with you. One thing that people have to provide when they apply to CalFresh is some documentation. You need to provide proof of identity, either a driver's license, California ID card, passport, things of that nature. You need to provide verification of income, or say that you have no income, maybe provide a copy of a pink slip or something like that. For the deductions, you need to provide proof for the rent, mortgage, and medical deductions, and Social Security card if you have one. So that's just to so that people can be prepared when they apply. These are the types of documents that are requested. Now, there are some concerns with when people are trying to change their immigration status. They're concerned about accepting public benefits and becoming what's called a public charge. So here are some questions and answers about the P-EBT card in CalFresh. And the state says that P-EBT is a disaster emergency benefit, and it is not considered by the Department of DHS. Is it Department of Homeland Security? Or it's not considered a public charge. Same thing for CalFresh. This statement is on the CalFresh website. It's a food program. It's not cash aid, and it is not considered a public charge. So we wanted to make that information available because that is a concern for many of the families that we've spoken to who are considering applying for CalFresh or P-EBT. Okay, the fourth program that I wanted to talk about are food banks. Now, food banks have been around, for a long time, but now many more people are accessing food banks for food for themselves and for their families. The food bank is also sometimes called a food pantry. So they are places that distribute food and sometimes other essentials like sometimes diapers or household supplies and essentials to seniors, children, and families. And food banks get their funding from government, from partnerships with businesses, from partnerships with restaurants and grocery stores, and also private donations. There are many food banks all throughout LA County. Some are really small, some are much larger. Usually a family will register with a food bank because they want that family to register and just go to one food bank and not get food at many food banks. And that's so that there's more food to go around for everyone who needs it. So if someone goes to a food bank, they might be asked to fill out some registration forms, where they live, how many people live in the household, what their income is, and so on. And that way the food bank can better serve them. So how does someone find a food bank? Well, I think the best way is to use this link. That LA Regional Food Bank has this great, it's called the Food Pantry Locator. So you go to this link, you type in your zip code, and it will show you all the food banks that are in your area. And then the family that you're working with can choose the one that is closest to them or best meets their needs. Some food banks only serve certain types of clients. It might just be for seniors, or it might be for everybody. Now, in addition to food banks, we have seen a lot of what I call, temporary food banks or pop-up food banks that are popping up because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And here's just a few that I've seen. The Child Development Institute, also called CDI, in Canoga Park, is doing food distributions to families in the Canoga Park area, and they do it maybe once or twice a month. They just ask people to make an appointment so that when they show up, they have enough food for the people that have made the appointments. And they are distributing fruits and vegetables. I've seen some LA City Council members, particularly Monica Rodriguez and Nuri Martinez, that are offering food distribution days occasionally. I think at Monica Rodriguez's office, which is in Pacoima, they're doing vegetarian lunches on Fridays. That's just one example. They might be doing other things too. I've seen some of our state assembly members who have sponsored food distribution days at their offices. One is Tom Lackey, who's in Palmdale, and Adrien Nazarian in the Valley. And then some other agencies I have seen advertising some pop-up food distribution sites. I'm sure there are many others that aren't listed here. These are just the ones that I was aware of that I included. So how do you find out about these things? Because sometimes I see something pop up and it says, oh, it's tomorrow at 9 a.m. I think the best thing to do is to follow some of these people on Facebook. That's where I've seen these announcements come up. If you live in San Fernando Valley and you know who your city council member is, go to their Facebook page. They all have Facebook pages or Twitter, and sign up to follow them. And then you'll get those announcements when they come up. Same thing for your assembly members. Follow their pages. You'll find out about these things on their pages. The fifth program I wanted to mention is something that was I think it was just announced earlier this week. It's called the Hot Lunch Meal Program. This is a program for people with disabilities, families who have a family member with a disability. It's a new partnership. I think it's with Fox Studios that are providing these lunches. It's a temporary program. It starts on Monday. They will have a free bag lunch for up to 3,000 City of Los Angeles residents who have a disability. I think it's been quite popular, as you can imagine. Oops. So this link here is to go to a web page on the city's website and fill out a form. So you fill out, the name of the person, the address, and then they contact you to make arrangements about delivery. So I think this is primarily for people who have difficulties getting out of the house to do their grocery shopping or to make it to some of these other distribution sites. That was the purpose of this program. And there may be other programs that are coming up. There's many things that we're seeing that are just being announced on a day-to-day basis. It keeps changing. So that's why I wanted to do this short webinar, is to just kind of talk about all these things in one place. Now, I would like to provide a few resources. First resource is our agency, Family Focused Resource Center. And we typically, provide resources to families and professionals, people who work with people with special needs. So that's our specialty. As I mentioned, we have a page where we have collected all the information about the school meal distribution sites. I'll show you that page in a minute. This is the page for the EBT card, the pandemic EBT card. And again, the application period for that starts next Friday, May 22nd, for the people who don't automatically get one in the mail. We check the mail first. And then there's CalFresh, there's the DPSS site where people can apply or contact one of our offices, and we will help regional center consumers and their families apply over the phone. And then finally, 211. 211 LA County, of course, is a great place to go for resources. They have information about food banks. They probably have information about a lot of these pop-up food programs as well. And just a reminder that we are available to help families who have questions about general resources, not just food, but we're helping people during this pandemic period with information about their IEPs, about virtual IEPs, about getting resources, regional center services. As I mentioned, we do the CalFresh applications. So we are staying busy, even though we are not working in our offices, we're all working at home. We have a lot of parent support groups, or we're calling them parent chats, over Zoom right now. So I welcome you to visit our website, look at our calendar of events, take a look at the other webinars that we have. We have a webinar series going on right now called Behavior at Home. And in that webinar series, we're talking about behavioral strategies parents can use with their children at home, because we're all at home. Some of our kids are having a difficult time with the distance learning, or just, getting adjusted to this change in circumstances. So we've had 2 of the presentations in this 5-week series, and we recorded them all, and they are on our website. We did this series in both English and Spanish, so people can watch the English version or they can watch the Spanish version. And I will also put this webinar and all of our webinars up there if people want to access it. So at this time, that's the end of my presentation. I'm going to stop the presentation. I'm going to go to my, I'm going to go to a different screen to share for just a moment. I guess I'll share my desktop. Are you seeing something that says COVID-19 resources? I hope you are. Give me a thumbs up if you are. And So this is where you can get the information about the places to get meals. So we said we had someone here from Santa Clarita. So Santa Clarita School Districts, the information is here in English or in Spanish. Antelope Valley, we have a document here that lists all the different school districts and all their information. This is in English and in Spanish. So there are lots and lots of school sites here on this document. Let's see, let me go back. Let me share my desktop again. Okay, COVID-19. We also have some special education resources we've listed here. Helping your child cope with COVID-19. Financial resources, information about the CARES Act, the rent and mortgage relief, the eviction protections. A lot of information here. So I won't go through it all, but I'll let you look at that. And then I want to show our webinars page. So our webinars page we had this webinar yesterday, special education advocacy during COVID-19. So when I get that recording, I'm going to put that up on our YouTube page. And then of course you probably saw this because this is where you registered. So I'm going to put that up on our webinars page too. But here's the information about our Behavior at Home series. You can still join in the series if you want to see it. And then you can get all the handouts and you can watch the webinars in English or in Spanish here. So I just wanted to, since I have you here, I wanted to share that. And at this point, I'm going to stop the recording so that we can take some questions if anyone has any questions. So thank you all for attending, and we hope we'll see you again soon.